Good morning, everybody.
We're back, baby. Big thanks to Chris Myers on the trumpet this morning. Nice job. Will you come on in?
Hey, go, Dave. Somebody.
All right. Here we go. Standing outside the door of love and mercy, you wonder if there's a place there for you. You know there's peace inside, but still you're searching for someone who understands the pain you've been through. With a door that waits with open arms, he's calling out your name. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, come on in. Come on in. You'll find a place of rest and illumination where God within you helps you to light your way. He knows the peace you need from the hurt you're feeling. He longs to hold you and to wipe your tears away. Where the doors are locked, the lights are on. What are you waiting for? Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, come on in. Well, there's room enough in this home of love for someone just like you. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, come on in. Unity of Tampa, come on in. All right, good morning. Great to be back with you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Pat Fenda, and I'm your platform assistant today. Welcome all new visitors. Do we have any new visitors for the first time? Well, welcome. You are, yay.
Yeah.
You are welcome to go to the table right at the back of the room and get a T-shirt. Oh, you have one. Purple. Great color. Okay, so don't forget yours, the new visitors. And please join us in Fellowship Hall after. Visitors? Any new visitors?
My buddy Travis is here for the first. Come on, don't be
Okay,
shy.
Travis.
Don't be shy, bro. Yeah, my
I
friend
saw him
Travis
raise
is here
his
today.
hand.
It's great. Yeah.
I saw it. All right. So, if you're looking for some information about Unity of Tampa, you can go to the Sunday Bulletin, which I hope you have in your hand, the email newsletter, Facebook, website, and check in on your social media now. And then silence those phones and put them away. If you have other questions, another new person. Yay! I missed you on this side of the room. Hello and welcome. Yay. All right, so if there's still questions, there's someone today who's going to stand up and raise their hand who has a question button on them, and it says, questions, ask me. It is right over there. Julia. All right. All right. Julia. Thank you for wearing that button. Sleeping mats for the homeless. Recycle, have fun, help others. Join the care team to weave plastic shopping bags together. And if you don't want to weave, you can just collect those bags and get them to them so that they can have something to work with. So it's going to resume next Sunday. Next Sunday. Donate blood, free gifts for donors. Next Sunday, August 13th, 10 to 1 is the blood drive. I'm sure the vampires will be waiting. Thank you, Snack Angels. Meet, greet, and eat in Fellowship Hall after the service. Be an angel. Sign up and help with the food. That's always good. And now, we're to birthdays. We have Linda Reed on August 8th. Are there any other birthdays this week? Oh, yay! Happy birthday. What's the date? What? August 11th, 94. Fabulous. Fabulous. Any, right over here. 94. And anybody else for birthdays? Okay, let's sing the song.
Let's sing them happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, God loves you. Happy birthday to you.
Well, good morning. How's everybody? Yeah? Okay, so Janice, I need you to stand. I want to thank you for running things while we were gone. How many of you enjoyed this experience last Sunday? Yeah? So that's awesome. I heard lots of great things. Thank you for filling in. Thank you for doing something uniquely different. And thank you for taking care of our spiritual family while we were away. I also want to tell you we're going to share, I know you all want to hear the story, but we're going to share a video in a little while about the Montana retreat. I have to tell you, it was the best thing I've done for myself in a long time, was taking that trip and being with people. Hi, Sue. And being with people. So it was just a wonderful experience, and I'll share more later. I also want to welcome Dad back. So I feel like it's Elliot and my first day back. So, but anyway, it's wonderful to see everybody. Michael and Jeffrey B., good to see you guys. Thank you. And
If anybody sees Elliot sleeping, just give him a little nudge.
yeah. How about you just let him sleep? I mean, maybe that would be the thoughtful thing to do instead of nudging him up. Sam, thank you for being our board angel on duty today. We appreciate you. All right. I have a couple of things I just want to say. First, to our Facebook and YouTube audience, thank you for understanding that we were not live last Sunday, but the in-person event was something we couldn't figure out how to translate to activities for you, but we appreciate you returning today, and I promise it's not a weekly thing, so don't think we forgot about you. I also just want to mention, if anybody, I've spoken to Linda Reed, I don't know if she's here yet or not, or if she's here today, but Bobby Biggs is moving. Many of you know Bobby. He's downsizing, and he has a lot of stuff. He has to downsize. So you can see me after if you have any interest, if you have furniture needs or other needs. He has some stuff he has to get rid of, and I told him I would just let everybody know, okay? All right, I think that's it for announcements on my part. Let's do our affirmation, and then we'll do the daily word. So I want you to just take this in. Take a deep breath. And let's say our affirmation, focusing on the words and taking that within. There is only one power and one presence in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent. And our daily word today, Melody did not open for me, is faith. And here's what it says. No matter my need, I begin with faith. In the story of unity, James Dillett Freeman tells a story from the unity movement's early days. During a period of financial insufficiency, staff gathered together to pray. An associate said, "Let us pray that the money holds out." And co-founder Myrtle Fillmore countered, "Oh no, let us pray that our faith holds out." Today I remember the importance of faith in all my endeavors. Like everyone, I will need all kinds of things during my lifetime. More money, more time, greater harmony, just to name a few. But rather than pray for specific things or results, praying for the understanding and clarity to draw upon my faith is the best place to begin. I believe in the absolute goodness of God, and I believe in myself as a spiritual being endowed with the gift of faith to direct however I choose. And from Mark, all things can be done for the one who believes. So, good reminders for us. And with that said, we have a brand new monthly song.
That's right.
And it's a beautiful one. I'm grateful Elliot picked this one.
Will you guys stand and sing World of Abundance with us? We're going to learn this one together, okay? Here we go. I am so grateful for this life I have to live. Oh, and I am so grateful for all I have to give. For I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. I am so grateful, for I know my path is blessed by a love so full and graceful. I can trust in every step, for I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a heart overflowing and a heart full of love. Let's sing it one more. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. Thanks for singing it with us, guys. We're going to work on that one this month. We'll see.
Such a beautiful song, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you. It's great to have you back. And Michael, thanks for holding down the fort for a few weeks for us.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for you. Yeah. Bronwyn, where'd she go? Bronwyn, I always want to look for you over here. Bronwyn held down meditation night for us while we were away. Thank you so much. Alvin, I know you're a steady Eddie. I'm appreciative and Christian. Thank you. And of course, Michael and Michael. Okay, David and Duncan. I'll be all right. All right, so before I show the video, we show the video that Jeffrey created. I just want to tell you a couple of things to think about. One, it was an amazing bonding experience for our group. And probably my favorite, I just have to say, my favorite ending to the story was our flight getting canceled last Sunday. So we had a fuel gauge problem, and we were flying over the mountains, which I was glad they chose not to fly. But literally, 180 of us were told we weren't leaving. And you know what? Our group, being in the space we're in, we got rooms at a hotel. We took a shuttle downtown Whitefish, and we sat on a rooftop restaurant out in the open, watching the sunset, having a meal together, and hanging out. And it was just an amazing ending to a great few days. The property we were on, Dancing Spirit Ranch, everything was once Native American land. And so they used sacred geometry to create everything that was on the land. And when you see the pictures, you'll understand. And I had the opportunity to facilitate an event in a spiritual experience for the 20 or 21 of us, in the center of this stone sort of looking tower you're going to see in the video. What is it? The Tower of Power. Yes, thank you. And it was so incredible. I felt such energy in there. And when you see it again, you'll understand. But the musicians you're going to see in here, I want to tell you, we were so blessed. Aside from Peter Cater, concerts free every day, morning and night, we had the saxophone player for Carole King, who traveled with her for 13 years on the road, toured with her. He played the flute, and he played the saxophone and the piccolo and another instrument, right? Yeah, several. He had a whole box of instruments, and he played every day for us. We had a violinist from Maui who was an incredible violinist and jumped in on every song. We had local musicians, right, who came in to play for us outdoors with the mountains all around us. And these musicians joined him, never having played before, with them. It was just such an incredible synchronicity kind of thing. And the only negative, which ended fine, was Ellen had met us out there. And you remember Ellen and Mario's live in Kansas now. They drove to Montana, met us there, but Ellen ended up in the hospital on Saturday, and but I did go to the hospital to see her Sunday before we supposedly were leaving, and I got to see her, and she did check out, and she's back home, and everything is just fine. So it was a little scary when we came back from our rafting trip to find out Ellen was in the hospital, but everything turned out great. And Ellen, we love you, and we're glad you and Mario made the trip. All right, I'm going to let you enjoy this video.
jumping, the cotton is high, daddy's rich and your mama's good looking. I'd start the setting sun right in the sky for you.
Were all over the property, and there were big crystals everywhere, wherever you walked. It was just incredibly peaceful there. I will say that. But anyway, that's the highlight of our trip. And one other thing I'll just share, there was a 14-and-a-half-year-old young man who played for Peter Cater and played Peter's music. And I wish we didn't put a video up. I have them if anyone wants to see. But Peter was sitting there with his eyes closed, and this young man was stellar. He was equally capable of being Peter Cater. So I think as he played for a 14 Grammy Award-winning person, he was in himself overwhelmed. So anyway, thanks for letting us share. I decided our good news stories would be our trip. So, all right, let's get ready for meditation.
We're going to sing a couple of verses of blessing to the world, okay? We can all take a deep breath. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and all I am and all I do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, is a blessing to the world, is a blessing to the world. You're a blessing to the world.
So just as you take a few moments to think about being a blessing to this world and recognizing the importance of going within during this time, taking a few deep breaths, letting go of anything you came in the door with that doesn't need to be present here now. And allowing yourself to listen to the rhythm of your heart. And just allow the words I'm going to share to brush over your heart, taking in what is right for you on this day, and letting go of the rest. I am an unfolding spirit, and I allow my imagination to unfold in ways that positively impact my life and the world around me. I am the painter that creates the images I desire for my life. And only I can add the colors and the dimension that detail the vision that Spirit reveals to me. Through elevating my perspective, I see beyond what is right in front of me and create the reality that I desire. In doing so, I transform my life and I grow, expanding my thoughts, my experiences, and my faith in creating the world as I imagine it to be. I approach each moment with full confidence that I can claim what is mine to do in this lifetime. With an open heart and open mind, I'm able to rise above the limits of my mind and see the possibilities that exist in any situation. As I transform my thoughts and actions, I boldly move towards that which I desire and confidently express my highest good, knowing all doors will be open to me if I can only imagine it as such. Regardless of my age or circumstances, divine power and potential are within me. All of my desires can be achieved, and I welcome what life has in store for me as I release limited thinking and invite Spirit to transform my mind, I see the world in its infinite possibility. It's like opening a magnificent gift and seeing life anew. I rest in the silence now and take that in. Still breathing. I recognize that I have the power within me to see any situation through by rising above. And with an open mind and an open heart, I return to this moment in time, feeling refreshed, renewed, and at peace. Good morning, Logan. I think you're still on your beach trip and probably not watching me today. So, in the last several weeks, I have had so many reminders about the importance of gaining perspective that I couldn't help but think I was meant to talk about it today. So I have lots to share with you today, but I have to say that there were 3 things that kind of led me to wanting to have this message for you today, and for me. One is that I was in a client meeting and right before I went on the trip, and the client is telling me about a message he wants to share in a speech he's giving as president of a chapter, an alumni chapter in Trenton, New Jersey. And he's quoting from a book I wrote. And I was laughing. It was a business book, one of my business books. But he said, you know, Nancy, I need permission to use something you said in there about taking the elevator up, which I'll talk about later. So that was the first experience. Then in my class, the Art of Quantum Living that I'm taking, every day we're challenged to gain perspective about things that are happening in our lives. And then, of course, we're facilitated through this process during the actual class time. And then third was the retreat, where everything was about perspective. What you saw, how you felt, what you ate, what you were doing, who you were talking to, the breath work, the people you were meeting, all of it. And then literally yesterday, as I'm writing this talk, I get a call from a gentleman in Sierra Leone, South Africa, who had tried to reach me when I was talking to Margaret in Montana, and I didn't want to answer because I thought it was just going to be a business conversation. But he wanted to tell me that his vision had manifested and that he was now the deputy minister of government, local government and community affairs, and had moved to Freetown and was working for the president. And he was always already there because the president had asked him, president of Sierra Leone, had asked him to come there. But as I listened to him, I coached him for 18 months when he was in New York City. And as I listened to him and the perspective he had, that he knew all along he was meant to go back there, and what he's accomplished so far, and he was literally saying, Nancy, it's day 4 on my job, and I have to speak to you. I was like, great, I'm all ears. So as I'm typing this, I was like, perspective. It's all about elevating our perspective. But here's the thing, and you're not going to like this, but it's true. It's research. It's not my opinion. We, as human beings, are fully incapable of ever being objective, fully objective, at any time in our lives, and there's good reasons for that. I'm going to explain that. So first of all, every present moment has 400 billion bits of information for us to take in. 400 billion. Guess how much our mind takes in? 2,000. 400 billion available in this very moment, and each of us is taking in 2,000. But here's the really important part. Each of us is taking in our own version of 2,000. So is there any question in your mind as to why we do not see eye to eye on anything? Think that through. It is impossible for us to see things the same way others do. We don't take in what they do. And we have to really be mindful of this, how this works in our life. It's also important for us to recognize that we take everything in through our lens based on our beliefs, our values, right? And our personal ideas, but at the same time, whatever strength and energy we have at that time. So whatever we take in is filtered by what we can actually physically take in, and then again filtered by all these things that we have within us. So we have to think about how it's impossible for us to get through something in front of us without understanding what's going on in our minds. So I want you to think of it like this. I'm going to have Duncan show you a picture. Think of what it looks like to be standing on a path in a corn maze. You can't see above it. Can't see what's ahead beyond that straight and narrow. You don't know whether you're ever getting out, right? This is what it looks like in life for us. Everything's way bigger than we think it is, until we can actually come to a place of seeing the bigger picture, which I'll show you later. But this is when we're lost. It's easy to get lost. It's easy to think we can't navigate this. We can't see our way out. And then we ignore the uneasiness of what we feel when it starts to look the same, and we're trying to find our way through. But if we could activate any of the 12 powers that we were all born with, we would actually know which of these could help us figure our way out. Now, Charles Fillmore said this: imagination gives man the ability to project himself through time and space and rise above all limitations. So if we were to use our imagination walking through this maze, and we could imagine what it would look like, this next picture would give us greater perspective. So when we were in those walls, we couldn't see that there were all kinds of potential paths and all types of ways we could have found our way through that maze. But we're so focused on what's in front of us that it becomes difficult for us to rise above. But the concept that I wrote about many years ago was that we have to practice taking the elevator up in our consciousness. That it's about seeing ourselves in the moment that we see we're at risk and we're about to say or do something that's probably not helpful and is going to set off a ripple effect that we know isn't going to turn out well. It's about seeing ourselves walking to the elevator, the doors open, in we go, the door shuts, and we go to the highest floor possible to view this perspective, so that we can use our imagination to see our way out of what's right in front of us instead of having our knee-jerk reactions and trying to solve everything when we're only taking in 2,000 bits of information. So we need our imagination and we need these powers to help us get through this. But the challenge for most of us is we're always applying old approaches, old beliefs, old thinking to new situations and wondering why they feel so uncomfortable. If we don't change our thinking, if we don't elevate our perspective, we keep slapping the old mind against the new challenge, and we can't see our way through it. It becomes the old wall. And unfortunately, the only outcome in those cases is we're going to add fuel to the fire. It's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. We have to rise above present moment to be able to get ourselves out of what we're in and use our imagination to help us. It's leveraging these innate powers that we were born with and seeking answers within instead of always looking externally. I think that was one of the gifts of all the breath work we did. The couple from New Zealand that did breath work with us, sometimes in a morning we were spending an hour on breathing, just breathing. And we're all lightheaded already being in the altitude, and it just added, right? But the idea is that we don't even stop to breathe, to really take in what we need to in a given moment. In Adventures in Faith, Sharon Connors talks about our power of imagination as it relates to our perspective in this way. Your imagination, in concert with your faith, shapes what you see. It clothes your thoughts with form and color. What you see affects how you are and what you do. To catch God's vision for our lives, we need to divinize our imaginations by refusing to allow fear, self-limiting thoughts, or painful memories to be the films that we continue to project on the screen. So imagine yourself with a new situation, 2,000 bits of information that you're taking in, and you are still frustrated because you cannot get to that place of applying your new thinking. I don't know how many of you have read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's an amazing book, but one of my favorite things about that book is that he shares the story about his son, Blair. Now, I'm gonna read you words from him, and then I'm gonna tell you the rest of the story. But what he says here is so important for us to hear. His son, I just want to preface it by saying his son was born with no ears. So no ears on the outside and no mechanisms on the inside for hearing to occur. And this is what he writes. I challenged the doctor's opinion. I had the right to do so. I was the child's father. I too reached a decision and rendered an opinion, but I expressed the opinion silently in the secrecy of my own heart. I decided that my son would hear and speak. Nature could send me a child without ears, but nature could not induce me to accept the reality of the affliction. In my own mind, I knew that my son would hear and speak. How? I was sure there must be a way, and I knew I would find it. I thought of the words of the immortal Emerson. The whole course of things goes to teach us faith. We need only obey. There is guidance for each of us, and by lowly listening, we shall hear the right word. The right word? Desire. More than anything else, I desired that my son should not be a deaf mute. From that desire, I never receded. Not for 1 second. What could I do about it? Somehow I would find a way to transplant into that child's mind my own burning desire for ways and means of conveying sound to his brain without the aid of ears. As soon as the child was old enough to cooperate, I would fill his mind so completely with a burning desire to hear that nature would, by methods of her own, translate that into a physical reality. All this thinking took place in my mind, but I spoke of it to no one. Every day I renewed the pledge I had made to myself, not to accept a deaf mute for my son. Now, his story is way too long. The rest of the story is way too long, but I'm going to share some highlights. At 6 years old, Napoleon takes Blair to a chiropractor who does some adjustment on his body, and Blair starts to hear sound. There was a time when he would put music on, and Blair would clamp down his teeth next to where the phonograph was, and he would feel the sound in his head. Once he started to hear a little bit, then Napoleon convinced him that he would be the cause for special attention and extraordinary kindness to exist in his life. And at the same time, he would be helping others to have that ability, to be kind. They never allowed Blair to learn sign language. They refused to give him that crutch. They wanted him to learn to speak and form words. And after several electrical devices were given to him to stick on his head, he was just over it. He found it difficult after a while. And it was his last week in college when a manufacturer sends him a new device, and he puts the batteries and he puts it on his head, and he's just sure this is just another disappointment, and he hears everything. No ears, no hearing mechanisms. They had even operated on him, and there was nothing there. call the radio and he could hear everything. His father had translated his belief into this young person who thought he was different. And he gave him reason to be different for the good reasons. And they elevated themselves. So he writes the manufacturing plant a letter about how he couldn't believe he could hear. And the plant invites him to take a tour. And eventually he does research for them and he gets a permanent job, and he spent the rest of his days helping people who could not hear. Now, that kind of elevating our perspective takes guts, it takes faith, it takes a belief that all things are possible beyond the human sense. We say that every Sunday in our prosperity prayer. My question is, how many of us believe it and take it in? It all comes down to us understanding that regardless of how smart we are or how smart we think we are, we cannot rise above anything when we continue to meet it on the level it appears to us. Now, I'm going to see how good your awareness is. I'm going to give you a little test. I want you to watch this video, okay? And just do what the video asks you to do. It's only a couple of minutes, so stay with it. Okay? Let's see how your awareness works. Can you turn it up, please?
How many passes does the team in white have? The answer is 13. But did you see the moonwalking bear?
So, how many of you saw the moonwalking bear the first time? Couple? Okay, here's the point. The point of this is that knowing what we know about the human mind and what we take in, I want us to remember that we're the architects of our own life. And we have to use the power of our imagination to see our way above things, to elevate our perspective and get to where we are not looking at things literally. We can never waver from those desires and keep them as commitments of our heart. Let's review today's lessons. Elevating our perspective is possible when we first stop having knee-jerk reactions, remembering that ineffective actions add fuel to the fire. Number 2, identify the source of whatever's frustrating us, looking within for the answer, not externally. Number 3, seeing beyond the human sense, learning to raise our consciousness. And number 4, learning to take the elevator up, gaining objective for success. And our affirmation today is, I am elevating my perspective. Let's say that together. I am elevating my perspective. And today's quote is mine, learning to best manage those moments when clarity seems impossible. It's the perfect opportunity to eliminate ineffective reactions and increase favorable responses. Let's take that in for a moment. So we pause now to express our deepest gratitude for the 12 powers that we were given at birth. And using those powers, we help ourselves through life challenges, remembering not to look at them literally, but to rise above them, understanding the limits of our sight, using our mind to make up that difference and to help us. We see the greater good by rising above, and so it is. Amen. If you have a prayer need, please fill out the card in the back of the seat in front of you, or you can fill out a card in the narthex. And also, we have amazing chaplains. Everybody, including myself, we pray for the people on the list for 30 days, and then we send them to Silent Unity. And I want to say thank you to everyone who continues to bless and support this mission. And I want you to join me in saying our affirmation and think about this prosperity prayer in your own life as well. We have faith in God as our instant, constant, abundant supply and supplier. We have faith in God to open ways when to the human sense there is no way. We have faith in God in all our ways, and our health, happiness, and prosperity are assured. Thank you, God, for your abundant good, now flowing forth to meet our every need, and so it is. And our children, thank you to Diane today for filling in for our kids.
Feeling good, like I should. Went and took a walk around my neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got the sunshine on my Sunday best.
Good morning. So today we all were in a big group together just to make things easier, and we talked about the power of will and the ability to resist our short-term goals in order to meet our long-term goals. So we had each of the kids pick something that they were interested in, and we had them come up with their short-term and their long-term, write it down, and draw what it looked like to them so that it can help them meet their long-term.
It's so awesome. Oh, we're going to go ahead and... should we do it? You guys want to hear the featured song? I was going to try and get you guys out on time. Okay, we're just going to play it. We're just going to play the song, all right? Yeah. Yes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey. Well, it'd help if I had my lyrics up. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Yes, yes. I think I can make it now. The pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Hey, look, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but clear skies. Ooh. see all obstacles in my way. Gone on the dark clouds that had me blind. 'Cause it's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Yeah, it's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Hey, thanks. All right. Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate that. That's right. You guys can whistle that one all the way to lunch. All right, we're going to sing the peace song, shall we? Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. Walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And now let's join together in saying the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is great. God bless you. Have a great week. And thank you for being here.